How's it going, guys? I know we've been away for a while. Uh, that's just how life goes sometimes, you just get a little busy. Obviously, changed a little bit of things up here back in the background in between some of that time, but more importantly, been working on some custom work behind the scenes. Like I said before in the last video, I said that one of the next upcoming projects was actually going to be a commission, and that is an original print from 2002, the Master Grade Zeong. As I stated before, this is a commission, so this is not for me to keep, this is going to somebody. I was given a little bit of carte blanche to do what I wanted color-wise. The main focus was just to try to make it seem like a colder machine, so I figured I would just kind of stick with going in a direction of just semi-faithful to its original color scheme, slight variation, more of a muted color treatment just to give the Zeong a bit more of a cold killer space machine kind of vibe. That's kind of what we went for here. I enjoyed it. It took a long time just because of personal stuff in my life going on, so didn't always get time to work on it in large spurts. And I also just had a bit of a gaff. I normally have a pretty good process. I tend to tackle all the inner frame in one fell swoop. So that usually tends to make a good chunk of the build go by pretty fast. But with this one, for some reason, I ended up doing all the armor first and then the frame stuff afterwards, and it just kind of felt a little bit daunting, and part of that, it dragged out the process probably a little longer than it needed to. But it's done. I think it looks pretty darn great. I painted the stands with it just to give some semi-faithful Char vibes by painting them a darker red. So just that there's some Char Osnable vibes there, even though I changed it up a little bit. And besides, I figured it would be a neat little contrast since I didn't use anything that resembles the really dark bluish green that the stands are originally colored after. So just figured I'd do something that would pop a little bit with it. Let's get into some of the colors that we used for this one. The colors that we used, we'll go into in terms of order of base coats too. I just did a Hobby Mio, just basically a light gray, the light gray from the Hobby Mio color line. They're now known as I think it's just now known as Kaizo, but it's all the same. It's still Hobby Mio's in-house brand. So probably the same paints, same manufacturer, just a different label slapped on it, honestly. And so we did that for our base coat on all the dark gray parts that you see. And then for the actual dark gray color we used a Splash Paints German gray, so from the Splash Paints military color line. And then for the dark blue parts that you see, like on the shoulder, the chest armor, that base coat was another Hobby Mio color too. That was just a light blue as well. I think maybe Mecha light blue. I forget exactly. Just since we're using a darker color for the primary color, so we're highlighting instead of like trying to pre-shade here. So that was kind of what we were shooting for here. And then for the actual color that we used itself, that is actually from the Scale Modeler Supply, or SMS Paints, as you guys would probably all know them best for. That is the Blue Angels Blue, so that's another military aircraft color for you military and armor, so armor and military aircraft enthusiasts out there. It's a Blue Angel Blue that we used for that one. And then for the red parts that you see on there, for like the antennae or the horns, if you will, or the pseudo V-fin parts. So for this red pseudo V-fin parts, I used the Splash Paints German Gray for a base coat, and then I went over it with another Splash Paints color just called Dull Red. It's also from the Splash Paints military color line. So that's what we used for the red. And then again, it's not one of my builds if I don't find some kind of pathetic excuse to work in a purple, so we use the Splash Paints Ava Purple Gray for some of those parts that you see there, like on the wrist armor. So we did that in place of the yellow parts, basically. I mean, so we subbed out yellow and put in the purple gray. It was my personal feeling that it just better fed into just making this a little bit more of a muted color treatment rather than putting even something remotely close to being as vibrant as yellow. So that was kind of my thought process of putting that there in its place rather than trying to find some kind of yellow. And then for the green exposed like frame parts and on the thrusters, we used AOK green. I think it was like number 4. So we used like a very light green for a base coat, and then I went over that with another splash paints green. It was a German, like the Luftwaffe dark green. So that's what we used for the dark green, the green on the exposed frame parts. Then the inner frame parts, we just used the tried and true Gaia Notes gunmetal. So that's what we used for that. And the mono eye is just painted with of course a white base coat, and then the SMS fluoro red. I'm a huge fan of the SMS fluorescent color lines. I feel, while Gaia Note is definitely up there as well, I feel that the SMS paints like fluoro color line, they pop the most. Like, I hope it shows on the cameras, but looking at it in person and just through some of the pictures, and capturing these colors in pictures, I see that it just almost looks like it's illuminated just through like regular lighting and stuff. Obviously, it pops even more under like a UV light if you have that. So I don't. They're just among my favorite there. And then as far as decals go, it's just a smorgasbord of stuff. Just spare decals as well as some client supplied third-party decals. So it's just a blend. It's an amalgamation of things. I didn't use like a dedicated Delpy decals or G Rework or even like Simpro. I'm honestly not even sure if those exist, to be honest with you, if like a dedicated set like that exists. But that's what we rolled with for this one. We just used what we had and I tried not to be too over the top with it, just because again we're like doing a little bit of shading and highlighting in place of shading, so to speak, because we used a lot of dark colors here. So that's what I didn't want to take too much away from that. And plus the Master Grade Zeong is just so much more in lines with being more faithful to the anime aesthetic that we see in Mobile Suit Gundam, that I really didn't want to go too over the top with it. So that was kind of my philosophy with it, not giving it so to speak, a Verka treatment of just over the top with like tons of decals and stuff. Just kind of let the kit try to shine on its own in a sense, but still having a little bit more detail than what you see from the traditional iteration of the kit itself. That was my mindset going into it. Did I achieve that? That's kind of left to be decided. I feel like I found a decent balance of that. That's just, of course, my personal opinion. More importantly, the client's happy with it. They got to see it before you guys all did, of course, because they're the ones who paid for it. So, rightfully so, they should get to see it first. And it's going out this week, so it's going to its final home. They're excited to get it. Something I forgot to put in my B-roll footage, stuff that is not pictured, is some wire that comes with the kit to display the arms extended out on stands that are also included to mount and display those. Those are already boxed up. So while the kit is in frame over here, most of the kit's already boxed up to go away. So I didn't really fully think that through when I started gathering B-roll footage. I had already started boxing this kit up, so that way after the client had given the final blessing, they were happy with what they with the final results that I shared with them. I immediately just started making sure this was ready to go out as soon as I was done finishing this video that we're making now. So they're not in frame, but they were given that same red color treatment that this main base stand that the Zeong itself is on at the moment. And just some closing thoughts on the kit itself. It's really huge. I think that's my main takeaway. It is a big, chonky Master Grade. It lacks a lot of articulation and posability. So if you're wanting a Zeong that hits that mark, I would definitely steer you towards the real grade Zeong, which is an amazing kit. It's one of my personal favorites, as I stated in the video I did about the one I custom painted for the second time. But there's still something great to be appreciated about these older model kits that still have that more anime faithful aesthetic to them. So I'm not really going to sit here and tell you one is better than the other, because I feel like high grades, real grades, master grades, they fill a niche for everybody that's looking to take something, to enjoy something out of building Gunpla or Gundams, model kits in general. So I feel like there's something to be appreciated at each scale of model kits. So to me, the appreciation and the appeal for the master grade Zeong is just going to be something that's going to look pretty on the shelf. It's a bulky boy, and the aesthetic is very faithful to the Mobile Suit Gundam anime series, in my opinion. That's just me. If you disagree, that's totally fine. Me personally, I lean more towards the real grade Zeong. It's just got a lot of cool detail, a lot of cool gimmicks, and it just looks amazing to me personally. So that being said, I lean more towards the real grade one, but I can see the appeal of the master grade, and I understand why the client really liked this kit too. And fun fact, as I stated in the beginning, it's an original print from 2002. So that's kind of cool that I'm honored I was trusted with something semi-rare. Maybe I'm not going to pretend like I know what it's worth, but it's still pretty cool that somebody's got, one way or another, got their hands on an original 2002 print, and they said, hey, I want to trust you to paint it. So no pressure, right? Happy days overall. We get a video out of it. We get to see a cool piece of the legacy of Gunpla, as it was pretty popular back then. It's even more popular now. All the same, this is still a pretty cool piece of Gunpla legacy to document. So all in all, that master grade Zeong, it's a winner in my book. If it may not be for everybody, but there's clearly something to be greatly appreciated about that anime accurate aesthetic that some of the various offerings that Bandai has in terms of Gunpla. Let's close this out with just 2 things to expect from the channel. Hopefully things are a little bit more steadier now in terms of videos coming out, or just stuff I put on the YouTube channel in general. Personal life responsibilities will always take priority for whether you agree or disagree with that. We've all got things we got to take care of. The videos, they happen when they happen. The customs, they get done when they get done. We can't, it's most important not to rush it. It's a relaxing process for me. I really like to, I almost like just go into a sense of autopilot. It gets me off of my phone or like off my computer screen. I just get to zone in on just one singular task for a couple hours at a time as the time comes available to me. So it's most importantly that I don't force it in that sense. So I appreciate all of you guys that have come around and that have stuck around, that are even new here too. So thank you again, guys, for being a part of this as we document hopefully some interesting customs to you guys, and maybe just offering something a little bit different to the Gunpla model kit space, so to speak. Lastly, our next upcoming custom, it's going to be the Proto Zero Wing Gundam this time. It's finally happening. I decided to, like I said, this commission had kind of come up, and got paid, getting paid for it, so it kind of takes some priorities. As far as next customs to expect from the channel, that'll be the Master Grade Proto Wing Zero, but we've actually got another kit to review in the pipeline here. You'll see it in the background here, a little bit blurred out, but I've already done some Instagram stories and stuff about it, or I think maybe even YouTube as well. But the next one is going to be the high grade, I'll just use the meme name, the G-Quacks, because I'm a little late to the party with it. But that'll be our next kit we feature on the channel for a review, hopefully with the flight pack. So that'll be cool. We'll snap that up and we'll do some initial impressions on that. So let's get out of here. We'll get out of here, guys. Thank you again for coming around. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.